Game.
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net.
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
It's good.
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored.
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort studio, here's Josh Hennig.
Sixers game day plus a hump day Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Sixers return to the court tonight in what is, yes, the most important game of their season because it will determine their postseason future. We'll get into that this hour. Plus, Jalen Hurts had some very interesting things to say when he spoke to the media today. Apparently, today was Eagle players meet with the media day because why would the Eagles let any other team in the city have a day to themselves? No, of course not. Plus, we will touch on the Phillies' big win last night and why something I told you guys last night played out explicitly in the game. Also, don't forget, coming up in about 52 minutes from now, your next opportunity to qualify for the Eagles draft party contest. Kelly and Summers Point, Andrew and Kate May are the latest qualifiers, and you can be the next two coming up in about 52 minutes from now. And as always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. It's a Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg will join us coming up in about 20 minutes from now. All right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts, okay? First of all, this game is huge tonight. And there are two specific aspects of the game that have to play out a certain way in order for the Sixers to win. It's a very, very simple equation. Number one, if the 76ers are to win this game tonight, they have to not let Miami control how this game plays out. To me, it's a very, very obvious issue. What I saw a couple weeks ago against Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder went bombs away. They controlled the game. They basically said, we can beat the Sixers because they're not defending the three-point line. And frankly, they almost lost that game if the Thunder might have hit a couple more threes in the game. They were very fortunate that they didn't lose that Thunder game. Joel Embiid's first game back. You cannot let a team like Miami dictate this game. The two things Miami can do in this game that will divert the 76ers' ability to win is either take a lot of threes or turn this into a track meet, running the ball up and down the court, forcing the pace of play. Because in both of those scenarios, I can guarantee you the Sixers cannot win a game that's a track meet. And whenever you get into a situation where you go mano-a-mano for shooting threes, someone's going to get cold, and that's playing with fire. So Miami, they need to take the Sixers out of what they do best. The Sixers are an offense that is high-powered but very methodical. It is very, very obvious that Philadelphia is a team that is not built to run. That's why they had trouble with a team like the Pacers, for example. And they are a team, when they don't defend the three-point line properly, they have a lot of trouble, like we saw in the Oklahoma City Thunder game a couple weeks ago. when you think about the other thing that has to happen in this game, I think for the 76ers, they have to make sure that they have a bona fide number 3 scorer in this game tonight. That's the second key to the game for the 76ers. We know about Joel. We know about Tyrese Maxey. But there has to be a bona fide number 3 in the game. Now, it should be Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre is your best scorer, not named Maxey or Embiid. He is legitimately one of the only guys on this team who can create his own shot and get his own points. But ultimately, the difference between someone such as Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris needs somebody else to put him in a position to be successful in order for him to be able to be a consistent part of the team. Oubre doesn't need that. Now, even if it's not Oubre, if you get a big game, let's say from Buddy Hield or Kyle Lowry, again, I don't need my number 3 scorer to be the best player on the floor, but I need them to be a potent enough contributor that it offsets the Miami Heat's defense. Because we know the Miami Heat are one of the best coach teams in the NBA. Eric Spoelstra, everyone agrees, is one of the best coaches in the league. And in order to offset good coaching, you got to give them something that they might not have an answer for. The Miami Heat have spent 48 plus hours. 48 plus hours preparing for Embiid and Maxey. But what the Miami Heat might not be ready for, what the Miami Heat might not be mentally or logistically prepared for, is if a guy like Kyle Lowry or Buddy Hield go like 5 for 8 from 3, right? Or if a guy like Kelly Oubre goes out there and gets 26 points tonight. Or if you have a scenario where if you get 15 points out of both Lowry or Hield, or if you get 15 points from Harris and 15 points from Hield and another 12 from Lowry, and most of those are on 3-pointers, that still spreads the floor. It forces your defense to stop hyper-focusing on Embiid and Maxey. And that's why I say the second key is the number 3 scorer. Because if we enter the fourth quarter of tonight's game and Embiid has 30 points, Maxey has 20 points, and nobody else has more than 10, that's a huge problem. You are probably not going to be able to win that game. Because this team was built on the idea that they are supposed to have a really good supporting cast. They are supposed to have a supporting cast that is going to help their stars. Because Miami is not a team that can win a game if you are out executing them. You can't let the turnovers beat you. You can't let the fouls beat you. You can't let Miami shoot a bunch of threes. You can't let Miami dictate the pace of play. If the Sixers play at the level they're capable of, they will win this game, and they'll play the Knicks on Saturday. You guys let me know what you think about tonight's game at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I wanted to touch on a couple of items that Jalen Hurts said to the media today, because Hurts has not really spoken since basically the end of the season, except for a couple of interviews here and there. he made a couple comments that stood out to me specifically. Starting with Jalen Hurts talked about his former offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, Brian Johnson. There were two major takeaways that I had from when Jalen Hurts was asked by the media about the team moving on from Brian Johnson and bringing in Kellen Moore. Take a listen.
I think the best of him. He's been a huge part of my development and my time here as an Eagle. It's been 3 years. It's been a starter. I'm going into the fourth year of that this year. It'll be great, but I think he's still more than capable of being a big time head coach in this league. I think he's on trajectory to do that still. I just didn't think it was the right time for him.
Obviously, the biggest takeaway has been the last part where he felt that it wasn't the right time for Brian Johnson to have the job that he had last year. And there are multiple people who have made comments about the offense from last year. Jason Kelsey has said they weren't creative enough. Britton Covey told Mike Gill in the Sports Bash that, it's hard to manage all those guys if you're not, ready for that opportunity being handed to you. We have heard guys like Lane Johnson say that the team got exposed against the 49ers and down the stretch it didn't work. Brandon Graham said some coaches were in the wrong positions last year. It's obvious that Brian Johnson was a huge reason why this team had problems last year. But there's another side of that coin. Because Jalen Hurts said that Brian Johnson was a huge part of his development and his evolution and his growth as a quarterback. So both of those can be true. Brian Johnson can be a very good coach. He can be a very intelligent, smart, capable coach in the NFL. But simultaneously, he can also not have been ready for the job that was handed to him last year. Now, whether that is maybe he is better as a non-play calling coach than as a play caller, whether the reason is because Brian Johnson maybe did not come into the season with the right mentality and attitude for the job. Maybe Brian Johnson was a little too high on himself and he got a little cocky and said, I know what I'm doing. I don't need any help. And he went out there and didn't do the job right. Whatever the reason is, he was not the right man for the job. And this offense suffered extensively. And I gave this example to Mike Gill on the Sports Bash earlier today on 97.3 ESPN. When I explained that, look at a guy like Josh Allen. Josh Allen was at his best with Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll brought out the best in Josh Allen we've ever saw. And then Brian Daboll left. And Ken Dorsey did not bring out the best in Josh Allen. Josh Allen turned into an interception machine. Last season, halfway through the year, they fired Ken Dorsey. What did they do? They made Joe Brady in charge of the offense. All of a sudden, Josh Allen became more efficient. All of a sudden, Josh Allen became a better quarterback. Less turnovers, less problems. And all of a sudden, you had a team in Buffalo that was in a position to make a legitimate playoff run. So there's a possibility that when we look at coaching, we don't understand the dynamics of how much an offensive coordinator or a quarterback coach and all of these people impact the game. And maybe, for as good of a coach as Brian Johnson is, maybe he's not a good coordinator for Jalen Hurts or the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, we'll talk more about the Eagles and the Phillies coming up next with Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN+. We will check in on your text messages a little bit later this hour, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Sixers, Heat tonight. Your thoughts. We'll get to it coming up on 97.3 ESPN.
The 2024 NBA Play-In Tournament.
Just want to go home. That's what the play-in is all about.
Cuts on the baseline, 2 to shoot. A 35-foot go. Amazing. Amazing.
You got to win to get in. Let's get it.
Open left side 3. It is good.
The Atlanta Hawks and the Chicago Bulls. Listen to the NBA tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins after Sixers Heat.
With GM financing to qualify buyers, excludes Corvette, excludes prior sales.
It's back! Bennett Chevrolet selling new Chevys at $500 below GM supplier employee pricing. You heard right. At Bennett Chevrolet, we're not only selling new Chevys at GM employee supplier pricing. No! Bennett selling new Chevys at $500 below GM supplier employee prices. Plus, you keep all the rebates. Yes, you keep all rebates and get a new vehicle at $500 below GM supplier employee pricing. And Bennett's got available 1.9% financing, saving you even more. Looking for used? For a limited time, you'll get a minimum $10,000 for any old rusted, busted junker you can get here. That's at least 10 grand towards any pre-owned in stock. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And you'll absolutely love our non-commissioned sales team because they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's Bennett Chevy's best offer ever. New Chevys at $500 below the GM supplier employee price. Plus, you keep all the rebates. Together, let's drive at Bennett Chevrolet, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
With Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $2,300 off select kitchen packages from top brands like GE Profile. That means you can save on a new GE Profile smart quad door refrigerator that's full of convenient features like a dual dispense autofill pitcher and an ice dispenser with up to 12.5 pounds capacity. Bring convenience to your kitchen with smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Family Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data, and you get to choose who joins your family plan starting as low as $25 a line.
Does it have to be family?
It can be family or people you like.
Get more lines and more savings. Switch to Straight Talk for family plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Champion Exteriors. Champion, the one you call first. Voted best of the best in Jersey Shores. For roofing and siding, windows and doors. 24-month financing, no payments, no interest. Your certified GAF elite contractors. Champion-exteriors.com. Champion Exteriors. Champion, the one you call first.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Here in New Jersey, it's one wow after another, after another, after another. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. To honor the legacy of the renowned celebrity chef and New Jersey native, the Anthony Bourdain Food Trail features 10 eateries around the state. From Bourdain's roots in Leonia and Fort Lee, to classic diner and deli comfort food, to seafood and saltwater taffy in Atlantic City, to not one but 2 amazing cheesesteak places in Camden. Find a new favorite or sample them all. Find your wow at visitnj.org. New Jersey, little state, lot of wow.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use at Morris River Diner in Port Elizabeth for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Before we get to Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, the Phillies just hit back-to-back home runs. Kyle Schwarber led off the bottom of the first inning, and then Trey Turner hit a bomb right after him. And I think Bryce Harper just made a swing to try to hit a home run himself, and he completely just missed and struck out there. So, but the Phillies do lead 2-1 to start the day, which leads into some of our conversation here. Dave Weinberg joins us here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, welcome back. How you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. Explain. I'm sorry for the blurry image. I don't know what's going on here, but maybe I got to clean my cell phone camera, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. Dave, I'm at the point where when it comes to technology, you know, we're supposed to be in 2024, and I'm still waiting for hoverboards. Like, I feel like technology is a great disappointment. You know, the Back to the Future tempted us so much with all these crazy ideas, and we got none of it right now.
Well, I did see a DeLorean on Beach Drive in Cape May one time. Like,
did you really?
I sure did. Yep. That didn't work out too well.
Didn't work out too well. Probably because Marty McFly wasn't driving it. That's why. So
there you go. Doesn't have a flux capacitor or whatever it was called.
Right. Flux capacitor, exactly. But to the point about the Phillies, Dave, you know, I said this yesterday, and they're proving it today. You know, people have complained about the offense, and to me, the issue isn't, you know, who should be heating cleanup or, you know, the Phillies have paid hundreds of millions of dollars to these guys. It's on the players to do their job. Like, at some point, it's not the manager, it's not the lineup, it's not Dave Dombrowski doing another press conference, it's not where's Sam Fold today. I just need these guys to do what they're paid to do, Dave, which is hit.
Oh, you're absolutely right, Josh. I mean, you can tinker with the lineup any way you want. You can, you know, move Schwarber to 1 or 5 or 4 or whatever, or you know, Harper or whatever. Yeah, if you're not hitting, it doesn't matter where in the lineup you are. I mean, you're right. You have a job to do, and they haven't been doing it on a consistent basis, at least in the early going here. So yeah, it's time for the bats to wake up and the guys to start earning their money.
I mean, I know John Kruk has said it a million times that the only guy he's not worried about is Bryce Harper. But I got to tell you, Dave, you know, the two guys that drive me the most nuts on this team, I don't know how it is for you, it's Castellanos and it's Turner. I mean, Castellanos and this whole, he's only good every other year, garbage, that is. And then the Trey Turner and his, one day I am an all-star caliber player, and the next day I look like an absolute idiot playing baseball. I don't understand how these guys can be complete Jekyll and Hyde people on the baseball diamond. Like, maybe my memory is failing me, but like, I don't remember high-paid baseball players being this inconsistent years ago.
Yeah, I'm not quite as down on Turner as you are. I'm more concerned with JT Realmuto's defense. It just seems like he's been horrible behind the plate. I know we got hit in the arm the other day, and I know that was seemed like a pretty painful injury, although he didn't come out of the game because he's so tough, I guess. But it just seems like there's a lot of pass balls and wild pitches and stolen bases. I don't get. And he's supposed to be the best in the game, or at least the top 3. But that's the one that concerns me, along with Castellanos, like everybody else is. And Rojas is hitting, but I don't know if he's ever going to come out of that. I guess you're just going to ride with him because he's so good defensively.
Yeah, I can see your frustrations with JT. I just feel like he's the kind of guy he'll come around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just like Castellanos. Like, I don't know what's worse, the fact that he's playing the way he is, or the fact this organization won't bench him for a day. Like, we've had Alec Bohm benched twice this year, and I gotta see Castellanos' dumb mug up at the plate. By the way, the Phillies now lead 4-1 as Brandon Marsh got an RBI there, driving in Alec Bohm as the Phillies offense. And there he is, the idiot in chief, Nick Castellanos at bat.
Man, you're tough. He was an all-star last year, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we can make a list of great all-stars. I mean, am I supposed to be in love with Adam Dunn too? I mean, come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm with you with Castellanos.
Wasn't Jeff Cirillo an all-star in the 90s for the Brewers?
Might have been. I don't remember.
My point is that being an all-star does nothing for me.
I get your point. Yeah. I mean, he's been maddeningly inconsistent, like you said. I just don't get it either. And he's such a quirky kind of guy, personality wise, and I don't know if that has something to do with it. He just doesn't seem to have that like even keel baseball mentality that you kind of need to succeed. Yeah. Although, I mean, he's a major leaguer, so who am I to criticize anybody really? But yeah, I'm kind of worried if he's ever going to come out of this.
Yeah, he's batting. Anyway. He's batting 169 coming into this game. Not good, Dave.
No, not at all. And you can't have like two guys under 200. I don't know what Schwarber's hitting either. He might be down there too. I don't know.
Schwarber's hitting almost 100 above Castellanos.
Is he really? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. But I mean, Schwarber actually is hitting this year. I mean, Castellanos is a paradox wrapped up in an anomaly who just grounded out the first base. There you go.
Yeah, him and Rojas both are 180, 170, 160. I don't know what they are, but it just seems like I know they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of good hitters too, or even I guess even Harper was under 200 until yesterday and today.
That's true.
But you can't have that many sub 200 hitters in your lineup and expect to succeed. I said, like, I'm with you, and I'm sure Harper will come out of it. I have no doubt about that. But you have to be able to wake up eventually if you're going to make a run at this thing.
By the way, after the home run today, Schwarber is hitting 220 this year.
Okay,
so
that's 100. That's not 100 higher, right?
Nah,
maybe 50.
I over exaggerated that one. But,
there you go.
But the point is that Schwarber's actually giving you something. You know, he's got your 4 home runs and he's getting on base. Wow, they just tried to bunt there with Stott. I've never seen that before. When was the last time you asked a young player to bunt? That's a rarity in baseball.
I saw Rojas try to do it yesterday for a base hit, but that he fouled it off naturally.
Try being the key word.
Yeah, really. Yep.
Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform, extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Dave, I want to touch on with the Eagles with you because it's getting a lot of pub online what Jalen Hurts said today to the media, which, you know how the Eagles are. Nobody can have a day, but the Eagles got to take away all the headlines. You know, Sixers have a playoff game tonight. What do the Eagles do? They trot out Jalen Hurts, talk to the media, right? So,
yeah, hey, heaven forbid that somebody else gets some glory, yeah.
You know, Flyers had the final game of the regular season last night. Here comes Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman to the podium. The Eagles can't. The Eagles are the woman who cannot be shown up at the bridal shower. She's got to be the prettiest to get the most attention. That's who the Eagles are.
Yep, you're right there.
But Jalen Hurts is something interesting today, Dave, because he talked about how, listen, you know, Brian Johnson, he admitted that Brian Johnson basically should not have been and was not ready to be the offense coordinator last year. And that's a big admission for the quarterback to say that, because how many times did you and I complain last year about the offense? And now this is multiple Eagles players who have come out and said that, yeah, you know, the offensive coaching wasn't too good last year. And, you know, Brian Johnson being fired as the offensive coordinator, he was supposed to be calling the plays. And now look where we are now with Kellen Moore going the next year.
What, Sirianni gets off the hook? Is that the way it works? You put all the blame on Brian Johnson?
Well,
If
I
you're an
mean,
Eagle fan?
Sirianni doesn't call the plays, so.
But it's his offense, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Well, he says it's his offense. Is it though? I mean, I feel like that's just a guy who keeps trying to tell people that he's married to the cute girlfriend when it's like, hey, we get it, bro. You're married to a cute girl. Like, Sirianni just overcompensates.
I sense a theme. I sense a theme with you today. Okay, keep going.
I guess I'm digging too deep into my psychology minor degree, but
That's all right. That's all right.
But no, I think Sirianni, when he says it's his offense, to me, I feel like that's just because he likes to try to, subvert the fact that, he doesn't really do actual like traditional coaching like Andy Reid does.
Yeah, I mean, I get their point. I mean, it seems kind of like too little, too late to be. I mean, it's real convenient to be placing all the blame on Brian Johnson now that he's not there, right?
Right. That's true.
That's it's like piling on for the sake of piling on. I don't know. I just and maybe they want to express some confidence with Kellen Moore, but I think you could have done that without throwing Brian Johnson under the bus. I mean, I just seemed like it was a pretty explosive offense, more or less, under him. I mean, I know he has some shortcomings, of course, but I don't place like all the blame on him like they might be doing. I don't know.
I don't know if they're placing all the blame on him, but I do think that I made the example earlier, Dave. Josh Allen was a really good quarterback with Brian Daboll. Not as good with Ken Dorsey. The Bills fire Ken Dorsey. They make Joe Brady in charge of play calling. All of a sudden, Josh Allen stops being a turnover machine. So maybe certain quarterbacks are just not good with certain coordinators in their ear.
He was pretty good 2 years ago, though, right?
Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Well, Shane Steichen was calling the plays.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I thought, wasn't Brian supposed to be like his close friend and confidant, and he was really going to flourish under him. That's true. Yeah, I forgot that Shane Steichen was the guy. You're right there. So yeah, maybe a change of coordinators will be what it takes to wake him out of his slump, so to speak.
I mean, when you think about it, maybe Brian Johnson is just not good at calling plays. Maybe he's just a better coach of coaching quarterbacks than he is of telling the quarterback what to do.
That could be. I mean, there are guys who are better position coaches than they are coordinators, or better coordinators than they are head coaches, or better college coaches than they are NFL coaches. It just happens to be that way. I mean, I don't know if it's just personality wise or the way the players respond to certain guys and their approach. But yeah, maybe that is the case. Maybe he'll be better off in a different role somewhere else.
And it's interesting, Dave, because you've been around a lot of Eagles iterations of coaching staffs, and
sure,
I know that the comment was made by Chris Long on his podcast that his opinion was that the coaches on the Eagles staff did more harm than good last year. So
really, wow.
That was a couple months ago. Chris Long said that. So, maybe there is something to the fact that they had to clean out house, and you know what? I mean, I remember with Andy Reid, when he lost his best coaches, he wasn't the same guy in Philadelphia.
True. I mean, he went through a lot of coaches. I mean, I just off the top of my head, I just remember Marty Mornhinweg and John Gruden the first year that he was there, and Rod Dowhauer was there for a time, and he recycled a lot. He went through a lot of coordinators, but a lot of those guys went on to bigger and better things. So
sure,
I guess Reid had a lot to do with that. So I don't. There's the so-called Andy Reid coaching tree. Right. I don't know if Sirianni's got a tree or Bush. I don't know what the heck he's got, but
that's maybe too early to call Sirianni anything like that. I mean,
yeah. So maybe he just needs some more stability there, and the new guys coming in, maybe they'll be able to establish themselves and get the Eagles back on track.
Now, let's say Sirianni falls on his face next year and things do not go well, right? Obviously, the reporting came out this morning that Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, they're fans of Bill Belichick, and that, if they bring in Belichick, though, the concern is that would upend how the organization basically runs their football operations. So, would it be a good idea to bring in a coach that's only going to be here for a couple years just to win, or would you go in a different direction if Sirianni fails?
Go in a different direction. I don't think you have much to gain by bringing Belichick in. I don't know that Jeffrey and Howie would be ready to surrender that kind of power that they have now. Because Belichick's going to want complete control over everything, and I just think that's just like a short term answer. But even Belichick, I mean, he didn't accomplish much his last couple of years in New England either. So there's no guarantee that he would be the answer. I would rather go in a different direction. A younger guy, and who can grow with the team and make him successful that way, rather than a short term fix.
It's interesting because, for those who didn't read out there the article at ESPN.com or didn't watch some of the recent, talks, we'll call it, about Belichick. I know that the documentary about the Patriots dynasty was very controversial, but one of the elements that has come out in recent weeks is the fact that Belichick has basically admitted that, he understands that he really can't, be the GM anymore, that maybe that's not the right idea for him. And it's like, well, Belichick can say that, Dave, but it doesn't mean that he might not want to say in things. You know what I mean? Like, he may tell Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, hey, you guys run the front office. I'm not going to walk in the room and tell you what to do. But on draft night, he may still have a very strong opinion, of who is or isn't drafted. I was watching him on Pat McAfee's show today, and he talked about how when he was with the Patriots, they never expected guys like Vince Wilfork or Chandler Jones to fall down the draft board the way they did, or how Tom Brady fell on the draft board. But, they were lucky to get those guys. So if a guy like Belichick, who, let's be realistic, he's got a pretty big ego too, right? Belichick's
sure.
If that guy's even saying, oh, yeah, it's luck to get some of these guys, you don't think that guy might walk into a draft room and tell Howie Roseman, let's get lucky tonight? Like, because I've done this and I've done that. Obviously, they didn't come out right, but, tell Howie Roseman, I've been in 20 million drafts. So sometimes you just got to get lucky and let guys come to you. And Howie may turn around and be like, I traded up to get Devonta Smith. You know what I mean? Like, Howie's got a pretty good resume to compare to Belichick's in the draft at this point.
Yeah, I mean, every coach has a say, I would think. The established ones at least, and when it comes to the draft, but ultimately it shouldn't be their pick. I mean, they can voice their opinions, but it should, how, like you said, Howie's established himself to the point where I would think that he makes the final call. And Belichick, that might not sit too well with him. Like you said, he has a very big ego. He's used to doing things his way. I don't know that at this point in his stage in his life and career that he'd be willing to change his spot, so to speak. I just don't see that happening.
My only concern is I know there's a lot of speculation that if Mike McCarthy falls on his face this year, that Belichick could go to Dallas. And it's like, what if Belichick does go to Dallas and win? Like, how much that's going to be a pain in the rear?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that's true. I don't see it. I don't see him having any better success than McCarthy does. What's he going to? If Dak Prescott is still your quarterback, and you still have the same offensive line and defense, I don't see where that's going to change much, no matter who's there. To be honest with you.
Yeah, well, the Jones.
If he wins, though, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just that's my concern. Like, remember what happened when Bill Parcells went down there and he told Jerry Jones to get out of the way and he fixed things up in Dallas? What if Belichick goes down there and tells Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones to shut up and listen to me, and he fixes things down there? And then the Eagles are in some trouble, because right now we can make fun of the Cowboys for being idiots and how they run their business. But if Belichick cleans things up, we can't make fun of them anymore.
True. Yeah. I mean, that's the chance you got to take, though. I mean, the Cowboys might want that short-term fix because it's been so long since they've experienced any success that maybe it'd be worth it. Maybe it'd be worth it to them. But if I'm the Eagles, I don't do it.
I mean, it's amazing, this fact, Dave. Almost every NFC team has been to the conference championship game since the Cowboys' last conference championship game in the 90s.
Really? Wow.
Think about it. The only teams that haven't been to the conference championship game since Barry Switzer and the Cowboys did, 1996, is Washington. Every other NFC team, Seattle, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Lions, the Giants, the Bears have even been there, for goodness sake, right? The Saints, the Bucks, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Packers. The entire NFC has been there, but the Cowboys.
I never even realized that. Boy, that's pretty damning when you look at it that way. That that it's been so long, and other teams have been managed to make it, and not them. That's a pretty amazing stat when you think about it.
All right. Well, let's get back to watching the Phillies. I'll let you go, Dave. Phillies lead 4-1 in the bottom of the second. Man on second base with Trey Turner at bat. You can go watch that, Dave. I appreciate you jumping on today.
Oh, my pleasure, Josh. Anytime. I really enjoyed it as always. I'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Dave Weinberg does this each week for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. I mean, is there any franchise that hangs on harder to the 90s than the Cowboys? There isn't. You go through the NFC and you realize that every team that is not located in Washington and Dallas has been to the championship game. Because when the Lions got there last year, they were like one of the oldest gaps between championship game appearances. They got back before the Cowboys did. That tells you how much of a disaster the Cowboys are. Then Stephen Jones goes on the radio station down in Dallas yesterday and says, well, we're holding back our money so we can sign our guys, instead of signing extensions for Dak and CeeDee Lamb, when those extensions would save them the money that they would need to give Micah Parsons the big contract that he wants. But instead, you got Jerry saying, we're all in this offseason. Well, the only thing Jerry Jones is all in on is going hanging out on his yacht and being a rich man, because obviously the owners of the Cowboys are not really that interested in winning. I mean, they replaced Tony Pollard with Royce Freeman. Are you kidding me? So pathetic. All right, we'll get your guys' thoughts on the Sixers Heat game tonight, on the Phillies, Eagles, and more. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on 97.3 ESPN FM, and don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City.
It's Sixers Heat tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
The Sixers' playoff implications are at large. Maxey for three. It's good. He made it. A triple.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball.
Three-pointer is good. Body heel. 3 threes in a row.
97.3 ESPN.
Are you or a loved one living with a disability in the Garden State? If so, NJ Able is here to help. This special tax advantage savings account lets those with disabilities save for qualified expenses without impacting SSI and Medicaid eligibility. NJ Able makes it simple to both save money and grow your savings by investing without having to give up important benefits you rely on. NJ Able can also be used to help with housing, education, transportation, food, and so much more. To learn more, visit us at nj.savewithable.com. A message from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
Attention landowners. Got big plans for your land? Tackle all your spring projects with a powerful John Deere machine. And now with 0% APR for 72 months on select compact tractors, riding lawnmowers, and Gator utility vehicles, plus up to $2,000 off select compact tractors. It's never been easier to get in the sea. Offer available April 1st through 30th. Visit johndeere.com to find your local dealer. For complete finance details, please call toll-free 1-800-226-8903.
My wife and I we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Something big is cooking during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot with the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill. We're talking almost 2 feet across big. That's 13 burgers at once big. Right now, get the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill for just $99.98 at the Home Depot and bring that classic charcoal experience to your cookout. Buy it online and pick it up in store to get to grilling sooner. Go big during Spring Black Friday with the Weber Jumbo Joe Premium Charcoal Grill, now just $99.98 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select in-stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21. For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Champion Exteriors, Champion, the one you call first. Voted best of the best in Jersey Shores. For roofing and siding, windows and doors. 24-month financing, no payments, no interest. Your certified GAF elite contractors. Champion-exteriors.com. Champion Exteriors, Champion, the one you call first.
The good folks at Wendy's have a revolutionary new product for you. Introducing the new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. It's like a time machine that takes you all the way back to now, the year 2024. It's the classic creamy, orangey flavor you remember. Dare I say, it's new-timey. It's the flavor you grew up with, just all grown up. Head over to your local Wendy's establishment and get yours while supplies last. The new Orange Dreamsicle Frosty. Here for the now, for now.
Limited time only at participating Wendy's.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-670-5151. That's 1-800-670-5151. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-670-5151. Details on example rate at selectquote.com.
The seafood, extraordinary. The value, tremendous. The sunsets, on the house. Yuri's Waterfront Restaurant is open weekends. Dine indoors or on the deck overlooking the bay. The Phillies are always on at Yuri's. Watch the game and enjoy daily food and drink specials, including all-you-can-eat crabs, backed by popular demand. Next door to Yuri's is the Boathouse Restaurant. Two great ways to experience the Jersey Shore's best waterfront dining. Yuri's and the Boathouse at the foot of the bridge in Wildwood.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Don't forget, coming up in about 4 minutes from now, your next opportunity to qualify for the Eagles draft party, where you have an opportunity to win a trip to go see the Eagles take on the Ravens, thanks to Phillies Sports Trips. Just be callers 6 and 7 when you hear the sounder go off in about 3.5 minutes from now. First, we'll go back to the text board at 609-403-0973. Frank from Summers Point brings up an interesting thought here. He says, when the media asks why Sirianni doesn't call its offensive plays, well, that's what I think of when I hear you guys talking about the Eagles offense. That's from Frank and Summers Point. Frank, that's a very interesting point. Does Nick Sirianni not call the plays as an opportunity to vacate himself of any responsibility if things go sideways? Like when the Eagles have a bad offensive game like against the Seahawks, can he say, well, it's my offense, but I'm not calling the plays? It's very possible. I don't think he's overtly doing that to be a manipulative jerk or anything, but maybe, Frank, there is something to the fact that Sirianni just doesn't want to deal with that responsibility, and he would rather be the head coach of the team and not just the head coach of the offense, kind of like Doug Peterson is here in Philadelphia, or when he was here in Philadelphia, or as he now is in Jacksonville. Also from Summers Point, George chimes in at 609-403-0973. George says, hey, Josh, the only way I see the Sixers losing tonight is if they beat themselves by looking past Miami, thinking that they have a very easy road to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's from George in Summers Point. George, it's a very interesting thought, because the Sixers getting overconfident or looking past the Heat, which I don't think they are, but that definitely is something that can ruin any team. I think that's what happened to the Warriors last night. If anybody saw the Warriors game last night, they got absolutely smashed. And it felt like in the game that they walked in assuming we're still the Golden State Warriors. We can still hit that switch. We can still be one of the best teams of the NBA. Klay Thompson played horrible. Draymond and Steph didn't give you what you typically expect from those guys. That Warriors team looked like a shell of themselves. And I said this earlier to Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. I told Mike, I said, the Warriors remind me right now of what the Spurs were at the end of their run. Kawhi Leonard coming in extended their window, right? Similar to how some of the young guys like the Jordan Pooles and the Andrew Wiggins helped the Warriors get one more championship. But at the end, the Spurs never really replaced what they were getting from Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, the way that they needed to extend that window. DeJounte Murray was supposed to replace Tony Parker, but he was never Tony Parker. They signed LaMarcus Aldridge to come in and basically offset what they were losing with Tim Duncan, but he could only do so much. And then later they brought in DeMar DeRozan, hoping he could be a Manu Ginobili type, but he could only do so much. I think the same thing with the Warriors. The Warriors have never truly found the next Klay Thompson, the next Draymond Green, the next Steph Curry to offset their aging stars on that team. All right, there goes the sounder. That means callers number 6 and 7. You are qualifiers for the Eagles draft party contest. Thanks to Phillies Sports Trip, you have the opportunity to go see the Eagles take on the Ravens, but you got to be callers 6 and 7 at 609-573-3776, 609-573-3776. Callers 6 and 7. you are in for the Eagles draft party next Thursday. Top Golf inside Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, where Mike Gill and the Sports Bash will be broadcasting live from 2 to 6 p.m. Caller 6-7. You are in at 609-573-3776. Phillies still lead 4-1 in the third inning. Sixers Heat coming in next on 97.3 ESPN FM. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
Kick off the Pro Football Draft with me, Mike Gill, at Top Golf Swing Suite in Ocean Casino Resort, Thursday, April 25th. I will be live on the Sports Bet from Top Golf Swing Suite starting at 2 p.m., discussing everything you need to know about this year's draft. During happy hour, gather your squad and come sit at the bar and enjoy a night full of football, drinks, and giveaways. The Sports Bash live at Top Golf Swing Suite in Ocean Casino Resort, Thursday, April 25th. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.